I know that there's a lot of you out there that are looking to purchase your first truck. And, I've been selling trucks for 20 years. So if you're out there looking to purchase your first truck, there's a couple things that I can give you maybe some guidance on what you're looking to do. Back in 2011, I personally owned a couple trucks. So I purchased the trucks. I brokered my own loads off the load boards. I dealt with waiting 45 days to get paid, all those things. I'm quite familiar with what your situation is like when you're looking to purchase a used truck. And one of the hardest parts about purchasing your first truck isn't just about, finding the truck itself. It's about trying to finance the truck. And so many of you out there are looking, to figure out how to go about financing a truck. And one of the first things, of course, we all hear about is credit score. But you have to remember, it's not just about the score itself. Credit scores are based on criteria of making payments back on the credit that you have, the debt that you've carried. So let's say you've only carried a $4,000 credit card and you've made the payments on time and all that stuff, and your credit score is 750. Well, that isn't enough. It's not just about your credit score. It's about what's inside your credit that counts. So the depth of your credit, the different things that you've spent money on and purchased with credit, and how much have you paid back? What's the most expensive thing you've ever financed before? So if you've purchased a couple $5,000 cars and paid back those debts, that's better than just a credit card debt, but your max limit on your debt was only $5,000. So that's not going to help you when you're trying to look for financing for a truck. You have to remember, purchasing a truck is a lot like purchasing a house. Other than the fact that the truck lets to get out there and make you money, but the amount of effort and the depth of your credit needs to kind of look about the same. You need to have something in your credit that has shown your ability to pay that debt back. So if you've had 20, 30, $40,000 cars, and two or three of them, if you own a home is probably one of the biggest things that's going to help you if you have a mortgage. But of course, if you've missed payments and your credit score is low because of it, then that's not going to help very much. And of course, down payment is going to help. Down payment's definitely going to be required as a first-time buyer 95% of the time. So make sure you have a substantial amount saved up for your down payment. Let's assume that the truck is $60,000, $70,000. You're going to probably need 20% of that, so $12,000 to $14,000 down. The more down payment, it does help, but down payment doesn't overwrite negative credit or not enough credit. Not having any credit is just as bad as having bad credit. So you've had to have established yourself in certain ways with credit to be able to go out there and achieve financing for a truck on credit. So, the other important thing is making sure that you're going somewhere that knows what they're talking about and asks you certain questions to be able to find out, what your credit profile might be like, so that they can be sending your credit over to the right finance person, because you don't want to just blast your credit everywhere and then try to get an approval because you're hoping. It's better to find somebody that's been doing this a long enough time, that has direct contacts with direct lenders, to be able to submit your credit to that one lender where they feel that it might help. And it's okay to send it to 2 or 3 lenders. It's not okay to send it to 25 or 30 lenders. That's when it starts to hurt your credit pretty bad. You have the right to shop. You have the right to look for a better deal. So you have the right to, try to access credit through different companies and see what your credit might turn out. And so you might end up with submitting it to 3 places and getting 3 approvals. And one approval is a better interest rate, one approval is a longer term, and one approval is a lower down payment. And now it's your decision to figure out whether you want to go with the lower down, the lower interest, or the longer term, which gives you a lower payment. So you have the right to shop. It's not going to hurt your credit profile to go out there and shop 3, 4 different lenders, but it is going to hurt your credit profile to go out there and shop a bunch of different lenders. But you definitely want to make sure that you're coming to the table with some sort of credit, some sort of history, some sort of depth that you can prove that you've done, you've been able to pay money back. The other thing, of course, is driving experience. There's almost no lenders out there that are going to be willing to give you money if you don't have at least 2 years driving experience. So, make sure that you're on the road and you've got your experience. Yeah, I've actually come across a lot of owner operators that bought their own truck, but they within a small amount of time, maybe a year, and they just went out and paid cash for a truck, and then they want to finance their next one, and it's still very difficult to try to get it financed because you don't have the experience. Now, owner operator experience, if you are an owner operator and you have experience in the cash flow of the business and your money coming in and your money going out, and you have that experience, that's definitely going to help. So the main criteria are definitely going to be credit, driving experience, and if you have owner operator experience. Even if you're a first time buyer, you could still potentially have owner operator experience because you purchased your first truck with cash. Now, there's a couple other things that I want to talk about, and of course, I'm the salesman talking about this stuff, so you can take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But like I said before, I've experienced this business from all aspects. I buy and sell equipment, but I've also experienced the owner-operator side of it, and I know exactly what it's like. It's important to try to find a haul source or somebody that's going to be brokering you, that's going to be paying you within a certain amount of time. We can break that down. Most carriers are going to pay you 45 days out, and that creates a negative cash flow situation. That is where you're spending your money before you're getting any of your money back in return, and you're waiting too long to get your receivable. There are factoring companies out there, and we can discuss factoring here. Factoring companies purchase your receivable early, right? And they usually charge you 3 to 5% of your receivable. So let's say it's $1,000 receivable, they're going to charge you $50 at 5%. But they're going to wait that 45 days to get the full amount of the $1,000, and they'll pay you $950 early. And that sounds pretty attractive, but you need to remember that on that $1,000 that you brought in as revenue, there's probably only $300 of it that was profit. So when you paid $50 to receive your money early, you paid $50 of $300 of profit, not $50 of $1,000 of revenue. And that's probably one of the hardest things for people to finally recognize when they're factoring a lot, because they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting my money early, I'm trying to create cash flow so it's coming in before my money's going out, but I'm still not making money. And the reason why is because factoring takes money off your profit. It's not just taking money off the revenue that you made. You have to calculate the amount of money that it's costing you based on the amount of profit that you made on that load. And so that's why factoring, is not a good idea. If you can find somebody that's going to broker the loads for you and get you paid early without having to go factor, that's going to save you and make you a whole lot more money. I have a lot of guys that want to come and negotiate with me on my pricing on trucks, and I get it. Sometimes there's prices that are negotiable, sometimes prices aren't. I'm usually pretty fair, and my goal is to be fair with you, and my goal is to earn your business more than once. And the only way I'm going to earn your business more than once is to have integrity in what I sell, being honest about what I sell. Even if I'm selling a truck that's a little rough, being honest about it. The truck, it needs some TLC, it needs some love, it's going to need some things. So my goal is to sell you with integrity so that you want to come back and purchase another truck from me in the future. However, one of the things that I want to explain to you about negotiating the price of the truck is, of course, I wish I could sell you the truck for a lot less, save you money up front. But in reality, the truck is going to be the least expensive part of this business that you're buying yourself into. The initial cost of the truck is the least expensive part of the business. So, if you want to look at it as the purchase price of the truck or what your payment's going to be, that's going to be the least expensive part. You've got fuel that's going to completely surpass that. You've got insurances, you've got repairs. Of course, trucks are going to break down. I wish I could promise you the world that, hey, these trucks are never going to break down, but they do. They're mechanical pieces of equipment. And so you're going to have problems. And so those problems are going to cost you money. You add all those things together, and let alone the fact that you're going to have downtime from those issues, you're going to be spending more money on all that stuff than you are on the truck purchase itself. So my recommendation would be to purchase the best truck that you can afford that's going to, fuel economy is huge, especially right now when fuel's $5 a gallon. On 10,000 miles a month at $5 a gallon, the difference between 1 mile per gallon and 2 miles per gallon, so 1 mile per gallon better saves you about $1,500 to $2,000 a month in fuel alone. So that right there is about a truck payment. So if you're going to go find a truck, one of the best trucks to look for is going to be a truck that's going to get you better fuel economy. That's where you're going to save money. Something that's going to last without having a whole lot of downtime. And I'm a huge Volvo fan. I came from the Volvo world. I was a manager at a Volvo dealership for 8 years. But the Freightliner with the Detroit engine, the Detroit's probably one of the most serviceable engines out there right now. Of course, the Cummins is as well. The Cummins has been running excellent. But between the DT12 automatic transmission and the DD15 engine, they're about as bulletproof of an investment in a truck that you can get out there. Compiled that with the fuel economy that you're going to save and the multiple service locations that are available to you nationwide to be able to get your truck in quicker and serviced and repaired, and parts availability, all those types of things fall in line with your whole entire business plan and cost of operations. And so you want to make sure that your cost of operations, are affordable and, something that you can control. The more things that you're involved in, the more things that you have to spend your money on, you want to be in control of that. And sadly, with breakdowns in the middle of nowhere and things like that, you're not in control of every single expense that's going to come your way. But trying to find the things that you can control and find the things that help you save time is what's going to help you not only save, but make money. Hopefully this video was helpful. If there's anything else that you guys are interested in me explaining to you, any aspect of this business, I will help the best I can. This information that I'm giving to you and you're interested in more information in the future, that really helps support me and, it supports my channel, and it really drives me to want to share the information that I have that I've compiled over 20 years to share with you guys. So once again, don't forget to click subscribe if you like what you're watching, and stay tuned for more information. Take care, guys.